Futureproof, the cloud payroll and HR podcast powered by PaySpace. Futureproof is for forward thinkers with a cloud-first strategy who want to eliminate inefficiencies, reclaim their time, and improve compliance. Every month we interview a payroll practitioner, HR leaders, and business experts to explore how they future-proof their business. A new way of moving fast on cloud technology to win their market from anywhere on any device. Stories about their highs and lows and actions they took in these times.
Morning everybody, I'm joined today by two lovely ladies from a company called Isometrix, and we'll be talking about future-proofing your payroll. Good morning Alida, good morning Kagisu. Please can you guys introduce yourself, your designation, and then maybe just something about Isometrix.
I'm Kagiso Nteta. I'm the payroll specialist for a company called Isometrix Software Solutions in 4 Ways, and I'm part of the HR team.
Hi, my name is Alida Nelson. I'm the senior HR manager for the company. So we are a global company, and our South African company is called Isometrix Software Solutions, and we sell a product called Isometrix. And so our product is known in the market as Isometrix, a global product. We specialize in ESG software, which is short, it stands for Environmental, Social and Governance, which is our SaaS product. And then we also got another product, which is more our legacy product, which is Environmental Health and Safety. That's Isometrix, that's what we do.
Super, and how long have you ladies been with the organization?
Well, I've been there for 7 years and a half, so it's pretty much a long time. And Alida has probably been there much longer because she recruited me.
Yeah, so I've been with them for almost 9 years. I took a year break in my service after about 6 years. So me and my family actually relocated to a different location. So I'm actually based in Grahamstown, but then I guess luckily for me, the pandemic strike, and then we changed a little bit to a more hybrid working environment and the opportunity to work from home. So 9 years with a break in service. So let's make it 8 years in total.
I don't want to give our age back, but myself and Alida actually used to work together at a
really?
big other green company where we took an HR software to market.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So no, it is very interesting, and I think for me, when we saw Isometrix, or you're calling it something else, the Isometrix is actually the product. It's called?
Yes. So the entity is just called Isometrix Software Solutions, but we can talk about Isometrix. That's what
Isometrix.
And I remember when I joined PaySpace, they said to me, we've got an ISO certificate, and it's something that is so, I don't want to say it's unknown, but there's also not a lot of people that knows about ISO. If you've been in manufacturing or in construction, there's certain ISO certificates that you can get. But in the payroll and the technology world, it's still unknown. You guys working in that environment, there's probably a lot of different ISOs and a lot of different certifications, especially in governance, risk management, and compliance. Is it something that you now can talk with or sort of talk easily about because you're in that environment?
Personally, for me, no, because it's still a learning aspect because I've never really worked in an IT industry, firstly. But after a few courses and training that we've actually done internally, then you learn about the ISO standards and, the ISO certification and the security risks and all that. So it's part of a learning curve on my end. Yeah.
Yeah, I think our professional services department obviously gets very much hands-on training, our business analysts and project managers that actually implement the product. And we recruit specialists in those fields. But we do get exposed to that. We've just also got our which was the quality management system certification. That's also another one. And then obviously we have our security one. They all have different numbers. I think the one is 9,001, the other one is 15,000. But you do, as the company itself, also want to go through those certifications. Then it's more closer to home for the HR department.
I can just imagine. So we've only got one ISO. We are playing in the fields to get our new ISO agreement, but it also takes some time to actually implement those ISO certifications, and it's something we've seen from an educational point of view that we need to educate the market on, because I think Poppy has lifted that certification a little bit higher and made it more visible to people, but it is pretty much a constant educational thing, and if you haven't been exposed to it, it's an eye-opener to actually see it for the first time and know what the rigorous testing that you need to go through, the audit that you need to go through, and to comply constantly to keep that certification. It's not a once-off and you got that certification.
No, it's constant auditing and maintaining that. That's the big thing. Yeah.
Super. So you mentioned something, Alida, from legacy product as well as a new cloud product. But does Isometrix or Metrix have a cloud strategy?
Yeah, we definitely have. So we also found, because we're also a global company, we were founded in South Africa, and then we expanded about this whole international or global footprint strategy started about probably 8-9 years ago. And then it happened so quickly. So you can't be a global company and not have a cloud strategy and not be in the cloud. So, and it's almost the same as with these ISO certification, launching a brand new cloud SaaS product also was a very long roadmap. And that is part of our cloud strategy, to move all our customers over to this more software as a service, cloud-based product, instead of like what you guys also, the reason why we also went over to a cloud product is instead of going through the hosting.
And I think sort of all of us on the call have been in payroll for some time, and we've seen, I want to say, sort of legacy payroll in the market, and what has been that impact in going to cloud software? What was the change? I don't know, Kagiso, when you joined and took on sort of this payroll, did you already have a cloud product, or were you still on a...
No, we were not on a cloud product, but with the current system now, it makes global reporting a whole lot easier. It's a lot faster, definitely. And I love that it integrates HR and payroll into one system. So for me, it's worked a lot smoother than our previous system, our previous provider. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we also with the ESS, like Kagiso also saying, the whole integration of the system, everything, not like, I remember with our previous system, it was kind of like two systems, and because it wasn't in the cloud, it was just actually impossible for our users based in USA or Canada to actually use our employee self-service module. And now, that problem is all sorted now with going in a cloud, using a cloud system. So, definitely a big advantage there.
And the people tend to forget the amount of backups and updates you used to do it, and phone people to say, hey, you need to get out of the system, I need to do a backup, or updating or maintaining two different systems is quite a headache.
I just want to comment on that because I do the payroll. I remember in my previous system, I'd always have to be like, does a backup or whatever need to be done? With the current system now, it just happens in the back end, which is fantastic. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, we actually wanted to do a comparison and seeing what the average time is of people doing backups. And we quite regularly get it where there's people doing multiple payrolls on behalf of people, like a BPO, where they've done, they're still on a legacy payroll and they're doing payrolls for 30 companies, and they need to do 30 backups and 30 different updates. And It's the time they take to actually just do it is crazy. So it leads to sort of my next question, and it's sometimes difficult to answer this because there's time involved in it. But do you think sort of the move to the cloud has actually saved you time or money? And if you can put it into numbers, is that possible?
Yeah, no, it definitely has, because if I just think about previously, so our system is a little bit different. We have all our global companies on PaySpace, mostly for the reason for our leave management and claims and performance reviews. So we don't necessarily use the actual payroll pay slips for Canada, USA, UK, because that payrolls get still outsourced. But in the past, we still had to manually put through those reporting. So obviously because everybody's now loaded on PaySpace, and we do use the payroll module just to capture salaries. And there's a function, we still got to figure out a few functionalities, but I know you can do conversion rates on PaySpace. And that just has saved a tremendous amount of time. I mean, if I can put it in, I think, so we spend probably 3 days a month just to reconcile payroll reports from manual systems. And now it's kind of like probably just an hour to get it in the format that we want, because everything is on PaySpace and a click of a button, and you just do a little bit of tweaking. That gives you roughly an idea of just presenting data in a consolidated format.
And Kagiso, we talked about backups and updates, and you talking about the system not being on the same thing. Who did those backups previously? Was it a combination of you two, or was IT responsible for those?
No, it was our previous provider.
So,
yes.
And the updates, so they maintained it on your behalf. Okay, fantastic.
Which was obviously a lot of money. So.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's those things just add up, because it depends on probably how many backups and updates they did. If we're saying sort of a money thing, have you seen a reduce in cost just based on the two different systems? Going where the system actually does it automatically and where it was maintained by a previous provider?
I can't really give you a value amount, but I'm pretty sure we've cut down on costs a lot, on hosting, on maintenance. We definitely have cut down.
Yeah, initially when we did the whole research on, when we wanted to go to a cloud system from our previous provider to PaySpace, obviously we did cost comparisons, and at the time we made the decision it was cheaper to go on PaySpace versus the previous provider. Although now we've obviously cruised double, and the company has grown over the last 2 years, and we've also added a lot of extra modules because we like the HR modules. But I mean, initially when we went onto the system, it was definitely more affordable option as our current provider 2 years back when we made the decision.
Super. So something we said as well is this is always quite nice to see and find out from companies. But you mentioned COVID and the remote policy and people working remotely. Alida, you moving down and getting I would probably say, I don't always think it's a better life down at the coast, but it's a lot more windy and the weather is always not that great. But what is Isometrix's remoting work policy? Can you work from anywhere?
So prior to COVID, we were 5 days in the office, Monday to Friday. And then after the whole pandemic, we have become more hybrid. So it's compulsory to work 2 days, which is a Monday and a Friday at the office. And then you have a selection of 2 days within the week to actually work from home, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so that's obviously our Joburg branch. And then we did there was a stage where we did have a policy in place where people could apply for what we call kind of like a permanent remote working application. So at the time, we did allow people to kind of work remotely, permanently anywhere. And sometimes now also when we recruit people and we get really good candidates and they maybe not based in Joburg, we can actually then appoint them on a permanent remote working contract. So we have exceptions for those, like we have people in Cape Town, Durban. But I would say majority of our employees in Joburg still have a hybrid where they go to the office. And then for our regional offices, UK, USA, and Canada, and even Australia, those are all mostly fully remote work positions, employees. They do get together every now and again because we have offices there, but
More just social.
Fully remote. Yes.
No, but
it's
phenomenal having those policies, and I think sort of COVID brought this, it gave you a little bit of time back with your family and not being able, but sitting in the car. I used to also sit in the car. I left my house at 5 to be at the office at 7:30, and it was in Randburg.
Sure.
And I'm saying here in the east of Pretoria. I'm always going over the borders, but so it was horrible. And then the afternoons when I left at 5, it took me another 2 hours. So it's 4 hours of my day that just sort of wiped away. So it's phenomenal sort of having more this hybrid policy and working remote.
So are you guys also hybrid?
So funny enough, PaySpace had 2 offices at that stage. We had a Joburg office and a Cape Town office, and we've always had the Mauritian office as well. And when COVID struck, I think sort of PaySpace has always been a technology and a remote company. So we, over those 2 years, or the past 2 years, actually closed some of our offices and opened up like workspaces at these Regis buildings. And it was quite phenomenal. So if you need a client meeting or need to get together for, I want to say, departmental meetings, we can actually schedule that. You can go and book that and actually have that collaboration sessions. But we are a fully remote organization. So all our employees are remote. I think our HR manager sits in the UK. We've got salespeople in Australia, and I think the recent one that blew my mind was a developer sitting in Thailand. He's actually enjoys surfing, so he surfs in the morning and he codes from midday to the evening. So it's on a different scale. So now we're a full remote organization.
Wow. Okay. Sure.
Then I think sort of. My final question for today is to describe payroll in a single word. What does payroll mean to you guys?
I saw that question. I was like, so many words to describe payroll. I would say the word complex because everything in payroll somehow connects. It consists of like different parts, but it all comes down to one thing. So I would use it as complex. I would describe it as a complex process. Yes.
Super. Nalida?
I want to do a positive and a I don't know why payroll, I always have the connection about like meeting deadlines. So for me, I'm going to go with my gut instinct, stressful. It is stressful. I don't know. I know it's a bit of a negative, but it's stressful in a good way. I mean, the reason why I say that, when it comes to people pay, gosh, you can't mess with that. They get so upset when it's, luckily, our payrolls are smooth and we don't, I mean, I would say generally our employees are very happy and there's no issues when it comes to payroll time, but it's still stressful because you've got a certain deadline, you don't want anything to go wrong, you want to pay people on time, you want to pay them the right amount, and we are there, we do that, but it's still
I absolutely love that. And it helps just sort of reiterate what we're doing in payroll. And like you said, it needs to be on time every time. People don't complain if it's on time every time, but let it be a little bit off or a little bit late.
Exactly.
Lots of complaints. No, super. Thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything else you want to add? And
No.
And if somebody wanted to reach out to Isometrix and just want to know more, what's the best way of getting through to the organization?
Yeah, we have a website, www.isometrix.com, and there, obviously you can make contact on there, and then it will go through to the right people because there's different email address. People normally want to find out more about the product. So I think the best way is to visit our website and then, reach out to somebody on there and read. We've got nice, blogs and articles, and also customer stories on the website, what we offer. Thanks, Heinrich.
Super. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heinrich.